How has social media kind of helped you with connecting with your community, and how has that kind of played a role in your career?
It helps to spread a little bit more my work, but mostly of my job opportunities I had were just via email or via portfolio, either on ArtStation or not so much in social media,
Really?
because yeah.
So you think that Instagram is kind of, it helps in terms of like getting your work seen by people, but it doesn't necessarily help with getting work.
I may be really frustrated if I don't get that traction in something that I post on social media. So yes, I think it can be frustrating for new artists.
If you want to focus on your artwork and use Instagram as a platform to share your work, it's another tool in the same way that, ZBrush is a tool, but you don't see that same kind of one-to-one, results. And it's a totally different skill set than a ZBrush or a Maya or a Blender or, insert any software.
Yeah, exactly. Here. Hello, my name is Carlos Ortega. I'm a CG artist from Mexico. I work primarily making character visual development for film and games. I am currently working in a project. I'm working with Netflix. It's feature film, animated. I'm working mainly doing visual development, so a lot of character maquettes and 3D stuff that eventually it's gonna be sent to production in the Netflix animation studio.
So how'd you get started with 3D? And so your focus is primarily kind of like the pre-visualization, the concepting. You're kind of doing the kind of like designing the characters initially. That's kind of your focus.
Visual development has been my main focus for the last 4 years, maybe 5 years now. I used to do a lot of lighting, character modeling for production, just the whole pipeline from design to modeling, texturing, lighting, blend shapes, even composition for compositing shots for animation. But in the last 5 years, my main focus has been just character visual development, which is only mainly sculpting, just creating character maquettes, and I love it. Actually, it's the part that I enjoy the most because it's the most
creative and
the most creative.
You don't have to worry with the technical side of things as much.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. No, I totally get that.
Yeah. Yes, and
I'm the same way.
I love it. But the bad thing is, I feel sometimes that I'm getting a little bit behind in new techniques of rendering, of surfacing. So yes, I need to catch up. In that area.
Yeah. How did you get started? Like, did you go to school for this, or are you self-taught? Did you have how did you kind of learn modeling and character design?
Mainly learning using the help of the software, and eventually digging in some forums on internet. But yeah, it was just a hobby in the beginning.
Wow.
I'm a graphic
designer.
Very
like self-taught.
Yeah, I'm a graphic designer, and my main focus back then was making web pages and logos. That was my main.
Wow.
Yeah.
How'd you transition from graphic design to character design? Because while there is obviously a lot of similarities, they're also very different.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that I learned when I was studying graphic design, especially in the areas of. I took a lot of assignments from photograph, and especially art history, and those were the ones that I enjoyed the most. And eventually, when I discovered 3D art, CG art, I just started trying to learn, but just as a hobby, just to have an extra tool to use in my work. But eventually, I try to learn more to see if I can eventually make a living out of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very, very gradual. I was lucky that I had a good job, so it gave me a lot of free time to learn in my spare time.
Yeah.
And but yeah, my dream was just making web pages. Go
Uh-huh.
figure.
I was gonna say that's the typical dream of a character designer.
Of course.
Yeah. So who are like some of your big inspirations that you kind of pull from and like that you look to for from the other artists in the character design world?
When I started digging into making illustration in CG, my main inspiration was Alphonse Mucha. I think that's how you pronounce it. And
Mm-hmm.
Art Nouveau, things that I discovered in art history. And eventually I started to discovering a lot of CG artists, just digging into
Mm-hmm.
forums on internet. I remember a
Yeah.
couple of them. It was Steven Stolberg, I think it's his name.
Mm-hmm.
He made these beautiful paintings, combined with CG.
Oh wow.
Eventually discovered the work of Stephen Silver,
Yeah,
uh,
sure.
which is especially because I was really a huge fan of Kim Possible, the series,
Mm-hmm.
and it was something that I discovered because everything was really unique but everything looks so cohesive. Like
Yeah.
this whole world was so cohesive and so unique, and I discovered that it was a character designer who had that job, and I started to
Uh-huh.
to figure out what was that, and I discovered the work of Steven Silver, and those were my main inspirations. Pascal Blanchet, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's another
Uh-huh.
CG artist that was one of my main inspirations that I that got me fully to maybe want to dive fully into CG art. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, cool. How do you feel that your kind of style has changed over the years working in the industry?
A lot. I look back to my early work. Even I look to my work from the last year, and I usually just hate it. I always find, yeah, because I mean it's a good thing that I keep learning with every new project. Because I always look back at my previous project, and I always find a lot of errors, the flaws, and I think it has changed. Most people say it's I agree. A lot of my work looks the same from even from years ago, but
Mm-hmm.
it's the little things that I can spot that I think it has been an improvement.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I look back to my work from I don't know 5, 6 years ago, and I keep wondering why people hired me at that point. So yeah, it still happens.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think everybody kind of goes like everyone in general. I think kind of hates their own artwork. It's kind of hard
Mhm.
to really love your own work, and especially when you look at your old stuff. Like it's kind of just like, oh man, like I thought I was good then, but like,
Yeah.
it's I think it's a common. I think everyone kind of goes through that. So I'm curious, like, are there specific projects you could point to that like really pushed you out of your comfort zone and like made you that you felt like you really kind of experimented or did something different that like and you learned a lot from?
Mm, I think every new project, because even when
Mm-hmm.
I'm asked to do something that I really know how to do and easily, it's always small things that I need to learn, for especially working with different art directors.
Yeah.
You can do things your way, but you can always the feedback that they give you, it's always different.
Mm-hmm.
So you start to pushing your own work to fit in the style that they are requiring for the project. And
Yeah.
it's a little bit difficult at first, just trying to understand uh, the whole shape language that the project is using, and you start to fit in a little bit slowly, sometimes faster. Sometimes you need to learn different software, different techniques. Sometimes um, even especially working with characters that are very different from the ones that I do. Um, yeah, sometimes a little bit very stylized, sometimes a little bit pushed to realism.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, every new project, there's always they usually offer that opportunity to get out of the comfort zone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's scary at first, but it's for
Yeah.
the best usually.
Yeah. What's like your process like when you're approaching a new project, and whether it's something very different or even something new, like what's kind of your approach to tackling a project and a new character? Do you kind of have like a system in place at this point?
Mm, it depends because sometimes I am given the art director, the client just give me the character concept, and it's just replicated in 3D, just
Yeah.
make an interpretation of the forms that are already established. But sometimes and this is the type of project that I enjoy the most because the client, the concept artist, just give me a very rough shape, so really rough sketch of a character, and I like to complete whatever isn't showing in the 2D concept, and
Yeah.
that's when the process becomes a little bit a lot more creative, more organic, and a lot more fun. And
Yeah.
sometimes they just give me a brief description of the character, a mood board, some images of reference, even of my own work, and they just give me a blank check to do whatever I want.
That's awesome.
And yeah, that's fun, and I like that the client give me this trust.
Yeah.
They trust in my work from they see in my portfolio,
Right.
and yeah, I mean that's flattering that they trust you.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
something new. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think that's what comes with the time, is, and like you've already
Oh
kind of
yeah.
established your reputation. Like, what was kind of your career journey? What was your, you said you started in graphic design, you moved to character design. Were you kind of always working on a freelance basis, or did you work for specific studios?
Uh, it has been mostly as a freelancer. I worked in a animation studio here in Mexico, which was a feature film. It was my first full-time job. I remember I had to quit my current job back then. I was a multimedia artist, just making
Mm-hmm.
graphics for documentaries. I did a lot of camera work, and I just had to quit just to take this another chance. And it was really really fun because you get to finally be fully in a project, uh, which was only a hobby back then.
Yeah.
And the best part was you get to know a lot of people that enjoy the same things that as you do.
Yeah.
And I've only worked full time in a studio 2 times. That was here in Mexico, and another one was in Peru.
Mm-hmm.
So for another feature film. But other than that, it has been mostly freelancing.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes small studios, small clients, sometimes big studios.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, I'm curious, like, to hear your thoughts on like kind of the freelance versus studio path. Like, do you think that one is inherently better than the other, or do you think they both kind of have their pros and cons, like anything else?
Yeah, pros and cons. I mean, I enjoy most being as a freelancer because I'm I like to be alone most of the time,
Mm-hmm.
and you have your own schedule,
Yeah.
and you work from home. It's a little more your comfort zone. But the thing that I usually miss when working in a studio is the people, because you need eventually this interaction with people, and being with people in a studio, it's uh, the learning is it's in a at a faster rate than when
Mm.
you're alone working from home. The feedback is faster. You get to yes, I think things that's the pros of working in a studio, I think. But I mean, both are amazing. If you get to enjoy working from home, it's amazing. I
Yeah.
I like a lot being alone, so it works for
You
me.
like to have your own kind of space and
Yeah, I
Yeah,
usually
for sure.
I tell people that I live with my cat, and even my cat sometimes it's a lot of people. So yeah.
I'm curious to hear from you. Like, in your experience, what are some of the like things that you find very frustrating and challenging about working in the industry?
Right now, I think it has to do with the current state of the industry. You, it's been for a year or so that you find a lot of studios closing, the lack of work. I was lucky that I had an opportunity to be working right now, but a lot of friends got mm, lost their jobs, others entered in this like standby period of uh, waiting for a new project, and I think that's the bad thing right now uh, about the industry.
Yeah.
Like a bit uncertain, I think, at a certain point.
Yeah.
Um,
What do you think? What like where do you think the industry is heading? In your opinion, like where do you think things are going?
I don't know, and to be honest, I don't know because in the last year I've been like thinking like everything is lost. Where the entertainment is dead. Where we're gonna I need to start looking for to working in another thing that doesn't have to do with 3D or things like that. And I've been also like really optimistic, like it's just a period of time right now.
Yeah.
Things are going to get better. And the bad thing is you get like small hints from for one thing and for the other. Just looking at the news, looking at
Yeah.
studios, looking at new projects. So yeah, I still feel, at least for me, it's a little bit uncertain. I don't know. Um, I mean, a year ago, everybody told that by now there was not going to be like jobs anymore. So, but we're still here. So,
Right.
yeah, hopefully it's just temporary.
Right. It's yeah, it's a very uncertain time for sure. And it's interesting to see. Like I was just having this conversation yesterday with somebody, and he was saying to this point about how kind of about the uncertainty of things, and we don't know where the industry is heading, and because of all of the layoffs we've been seeing,
Mhm.
um, it's especially challenging for somebody who's starting out their career, right? Because they're competing for the same jobs that principal level artists are competing for. And if somebody sees two portfolios, one's a person who's fresh out of school, and one's somebody who's been in the industry for over 10 plus years and worked at AAA studios, and now is they're both applying for the same job.
Mhm.
It's very challenging, obviously, and
Mhm.
like, and it's pretty obvious who the studio's gonna who the studio's gonna pick first,
Exactly.
and yeah, it's a difficult time, and I think it's a transitional time. How will things look on the other side? Who knows? Like I don't think there's any way to know. One thing that I've been like advocating for a lot and like really pushing for is more people to get into like going independent and kind of finding their community and selling direct to their fans, because
Mhm.
that's kind of something that can't be taken away from you. Like if you build a community and you build a fan base of people who like your work, like nobody can say to you like, oh, you're fired. Like you have that relationship and you kind of own your audience, for lack of a better term. You're not going through a third party to kind of manage things for you. So I think that, like, especially in today's day and age and where the industry as a whole is heading with kind of YouTube and all the things that are available now, like I really do believe that, like, a lot of people look at it very negatively and think like, oh my gosh, like the industry's over and there's gonna be no work for me. And it's like that's true in a certain extent, but like if you kind of look at it on the flip side and the bright side, like you can go and make your own opportunities now in a way that you weren't able to before. It's kind of, in my opinion, I think it's kind of like a matter of perspective, and that's kind of like how I've been viewing it recently, because like everyone's going through it. Everyone's feeling the discomfort of what's going on in the industry right now, and it's kind of so it's kind of up to you about how you how you handle that situation. Do you kind of, like allow it to get you down, or do you say, okay, so what can I do to succeed?
In my case, I mean, I was lucky to build this community, if you'd like to say, call it that way. Back when there was a lot of opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
Because I had a stable job and I just like it to post everything of my own personal work on social media, and it started growing from there. I wasn't looking to build that community or that personal brand. It was just showing my work to the world when I was having a job in the back. So I think it may be difficult for a new artist to start building from zero when you need to at the same time to have a job.
Right.
So I think that's one thing that that I think it's. I mean, it's a shame for new artists because it's a lot more competitive right now.
Yeah.
So yes, in a lot of artists from my generation already have either a huge portfolio, a huge curriculum, a lot of contacts, experience, etc. Even if they don't have a job right now, they have that as a backup. And a new artist is just starting from scratch. So I think that's one of the hard things right now.
Yeah.
So
what kind of advice would you give to somebody who's in that position and starting out now and kind of doesn't have all those things?
I don't know. I think, as you mentioned, it's just start to building your portfolio, making it somehow unique, somehow different. You can either, yes, there's a lot of times when you need to create a lot of stuff just for a studio or a client to see that you can do the job, even if it's generic stuff, but just for the client to know that you have the technique or the knowledge to handle some things. But you can also have a lot of your own stuff just for a different type of clients to see that you have the creativity or the artistic part, not so much the technical part.
On that point, obviously, like you could say both are important, but like if you had to pick one, like which do you think is more important, the quantity or the quality?
Oh, the quality. You're right now, yeah. It's better to spend a lot of time in a really good piece of work that you can show, and that you can, for the client or the studio to immediately see everything that they need to know about you. Oh, this person handles really good, I don't know, lighting or color, composition, etc. Instead of having a lot of small things that you can get lost very easily, having a lot of generic stuff, and it's usually things that don't catch the eye immediately. If you go into our station, for example, and I've been guilty of that you usually just see that type of thumbnails. You just keep scrolling, so you just stop when you see something that really catches your eye, either illustration, a sculpture. But I think it's more important right now quality than quantity.
Yeah, definitely. Shifting gears for a second, going back to, you touched upon it for a second, and that is kind of your social media presence. How has social media kind of helped you with connecting with your community, and how has that kind of played a role in your career?
It's fun because it helps to spread a little bit more my work. And eventually my work lands in the right set of eyes, just to get a job opportunity. But mostly of my job opportunities I had were just via email or via portfolio, either on ArtStation or the now defunct CG Society. But not so much in social media, because
Really?
usually in Instagram, that it's the one that I had the most active in the last years. I only had one job offer, and casually it was the person that got in touch with me was the one who landed my first opportunity with Netflix back like 4 years ago. And it was for he saw my personal work. He didn't see any client work or freelance projects. He just saw my personal work, and he gave me an opportunity. And so far, I think it has been one of the few chances I had to get a job via social media. Most of them has been LinkedIn. Even I had a couple of opportunities there. I'm not very active on LinkedIn, actually, but I think ArtStation and my own website, my defunct website.
So you think that Instagram is kind of, it helps in terms of like getting your work seen by people, but it doesn't necessarily help with getting work. You think to get work, it's really more about having a strong portfolio, ArtStation.
Well, I think that was my case, because I really just suck at selling myself. So I usually, for example, Instagram or Facebook, I just post my work and leave it there. I usually just don't overshare it or put descriptions or put like experience or I'm open for job or anything like that. I just post a personal work and leave it there, and just go back to working on other stuff. But I've seen a lot of artists that know really well how to sell their own work via Instagram, either using it as portfolio to making contacts, engagement, even ads. And it's something that I have no idea how to do. To do that.
Also, I think the world of social media is very different in the last couple of years. Like recently, they kind of changed where it used to be like 5 years ago that you could just kind of post things to Instagram and gain traction that way. Now, like similarly to what you're saying with ArtStation, like you really need to kind of make standout content, and you do kind of need to play the game a lot more now than to even get noticed. You know, so like that also I think does kind of play into it as well. Which like, if you want to be an Instagrammer as like your profession, like great, you know, like you can learn how to do it and do it well. But if you want to focus on your artwork and use Instagram as a platform to share your work, it's not. It requires like it's another tool in the same way that, you know, ZBrush is a tool, but it doesn't have the same direct effect. Whereas in like if you learn ZBrush, now I can go and I can sculpt, right? If I learn how to use Instagram to market myself, you don't see that same kind of one-to-one, you know, results. And I do believe that it does help, but again, like it's a whole nother tool you have to kind of learn how to use, and it's a totally different skill set than, you know, than a ZBrush or a Maya or a Blender or, you know, insert any software.
Yeah, exactly.
Here, you know?
And on social media, especially right now, that, as you mentioned, I think it could be frustrating for new artists to not see immediate results when you start to posting or moving your work.
Yeah.
Because in social media, everything in the last year is really, really fast.
Yeah.
So even I think I may be really frustrated if I don't get that traction in something that I post on social media in let's say a week or so, which is a lot of time right now that when you post something. So yes, I think it can be frustrating for new artists to start using that kind of tool. As you mentioned, you use 3D, you just see the results immediately, but yeah, social
Yeah.
media, it's a whole different game.
Yeah, yeah, and it evolves so fast. And also, it's like
Mhm.
another big part of it is that it's not like ZBrush where like there's an update every year, but it still works the same way. It's like here, like
Mhm.
every couple of years, it's a totally different way of approaching it. Which is
Mhm.
like also, so again, it's like on the one hand, you could say it's like any other tool, but on the other hand, you could see why it's extremely frustrating. And it's whatever. It's kind of you kind of can argue both sides of it. I think,
Mhm.
and both sides are valid. How have you dealt with kind of burnout and kind of frustration in your time working? Like, have you ever had major issues with kind of not feeling it and kind of wanting to abandon the path?
Yeah, like at least once per day. At least in the last couple of years, I felt
Hmm.
like um it comes and goes. It's sometimes I'm really up, sometimes I'm really down.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes I just I just start to think what can I do that to fulfill this enjoyment that I used to have with my work. But no, it's I still love it, and that's when I go back to search for inspiration and things like that. As for burnout, yeah, it's frequent too, and I used to do the same thing in my free time, and that just uh, if I was just burnt out from making 3D, I just go and made 3D for myself, and that
Hmm.
like make me a little bit more give me a little bit more motivation and inspiration.
Hmm. Hmm.
But lately, I just like to. Um, it's weird because the things that inspire me the most right now don't have a lot to do with 3D or directly with art. I watch a lot
Hmm.
of videos on YouTube that always give me inspiration. Especially, I watch a lot of comedians. I watch a lot of uh, crafts and makings,
Uh-huh.
science, engineers, and that's the things that I find very inspiring
Mm.
because it's people loving what they do, and
Hmm.
even it's if it's just a stand-up specialist, people doing what they love
Yeah.
for people that enjoy watching it or listening to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
try to find now and then like
Yeah. Do you feel that character design is that for you, or do you feel like there's something else that maybe is not as uh mainstream and as easy to like make a career out of that, like whatever it is in like is there something more niche that maybe you would prefer to pursue, but character design is more needed?
mm, not needed because I think it's a little bit more saturated right now, character
Mm.
creation, than when I started. Because
Yeah.
right now you just throw a rock in our station and you're gonna hit a really excellent character designer, character sculptor.
Yeah.
So yes, it's a lot more competitive right now. Um, I don't know. It's the thing that I found years working in this, having made scenarios, paintings, objects, props, vehicles, characters is the things that I love the most.
Hmm.
So yes, I can think on another thing that give me this satisfaction, this inspiration.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, I probably need to find something if if
Yeah.
things go down.
Yeah. Yeah. But like characters is kind of for you. That's the like most enjoyable thing to be
Mhm.
creating.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a very kind of unique style. Your characters they share a kind of a like everyone has everyone always is like looking for their art style. You know, it's kind of the classic conundrum that every new artist faces. How did you kind of discover yours? Because, you know, when I look at your characters, I could, especially like your humans, I could tell it's your character. There's a specific look to it. One person that kind of like, to me, and I hope you take this as a compliment because I mean it as one. Like, to me, your 3D work reminds me a lot of the artist Chrissy Zulo, her 2D work. I feel like there are a lot of similarities in the way you kind of make faces. I've noticed that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love Chrissy Zulo's work as for 2D, and I really like your 3D, you know, characters, your 3D humans. And there's kind of a shared, in my opinion, there's a lot of like similarities. So I'm kind of curious, like, how did you kind of develop your style? Was it intentional, or did it kind of just happen as you created?
Yeah, it happens like by accident, just iterating a lot of things when you start to drawing and sculpting. One of my main inspirations when it comes to character, well, I mentioned Stephen Silver, but Stephen Silver, the Warner Brothers cartoons.
Yeah.
So you start to taking a little bit from a lot of places, from the things that you really like, and especially the features that you like to see in characters. I really like you may have noticed, which is big eyes, round faces, that kind of features that I really like. And you start to putting them in your own work. And yeah, the first results always suck, but you start to iterating. And yes, you end up making most of your work the same, which was one thing that when I started working, that everything looked the same. I started getting frustrated because I think I thought I was doing things wrong because I was in a really comfortable zone.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, most of the jobs that I landed, the client asked me for something very similar to the work that I did. And that's when I started to realize that maybe even when all my work looked the same, still looked the same, but very not unique, but it had something that was slightly different from other artists. And that's what the reasons that a lot of people started to offering me freelance projects and commissions, things like that. So, and a lot of 2D artists that I admire, you discover that most of their work looks the same. I mean, I love the work of Chris Sanders since I can remember. Yeah. And all his characters look the same since I can remember. So you see the work of Scott Campbell. It's a comic. It's mostly comic artist. Yeah. And all his faces look very similar. Yeah. But that's what I like it from their work.
Right. Because that's how you know it's them. Like it's their signature. Like
yes,
you
exactly.
see it and you know it's
Yes, and when I had this frustration, I realized that a lot of the artists that I really admire, a lot of their work was very unique in their own form. Yeah. So yes, it's something that I doesn't bother me that much, and I always have the opportunity to go out of my comfort zone in the freelance project that I do. So that's there's that.
Yeah. Looking to the future, like what are like some things that, first of all, that you would like to kind of learn and to develop further, and then what are things that you think new artists should focus and put their focus on to try and learn, again, in today's day and age, and kind of for the to kind of position yourself to be successful over the next number of years?
Well, as for myself, I think I would like to just to go back to do personal projects the way I used to do before, because I used to work everything, mm, to post really really frequently. Every week I was really excited to start something new. It's something that I've been missing in the last couple of years. But I think, and right now, when you have AI, when everything can just type something and get some results, I think focusing on the artistic part, like training your own eye to, I think it will be very important, because when I see really nice art pieces, um, everything has a point of view from the artist. When you see something AI generated, it's something that lacks a point of view.
Yeah.
It's yes, it's probably the idea of a person, but it's not the person's point of view.
Right.
And you can see in the most detailed artwork, a very rough sketch, you can ask the artist why they put certain stroke in there, certain object in some part of the scene, and they always have an answer for that,
Yeah.
a reason. It's not the same with AI art. You can ask the prompter about something in the corner of the scene. They're just gonna answer like, I don't know, the AI just did it for me.
Yeah.
So yes, I think in that sense, I think the artistic part is, or will be, very important, because and with the bunch of AI imagery right now, it's fun, because I was talking with a friend recently. It's fun that now you start to getting trained yourself to identify very easily AI imagery.
Yeah.
So now it's a back and forth between AI and artists just try to, and even people start to identify a lot easier AI imagery. So yes, I think the artistic part, I think, will be more important, because the technical part is getting easier. So
yeah, it's more about, like, it's really interesting what you said about, the point of view, because that's like, I've had a lot of discussions with people about AI and kind of what their thoughts on AI is, and yeah, that's kind of the recurring theme that kind of always comes back to, is this idea that AI lacks the ability to kind of infuse it with that meaning, and I like the way you articulated it with that kind of point of view, because like the way I look at it, and again, like, I can't predict the future, but this is kind of how I envision it. I think AI generation for images and video generation, like, sure, you'll have people who use it and whatever. That's besides the point. And then there's also kind of the whole discussion about using it for concepting. Again, that's kind of more behind the scenes work. In terms of AI for final products, the way I see it is, you're going to kind of have AI, let's just say, like with the video generation stuff. Like, I think it's going to be, if I'm texting a friend of mine, right, and like I want to send like a GIF of like something super specific, right? Like, I want a chicken riding a surfboard on like lava coming out of a volcano, right? So like I can have AI generate that for me, right? And it's like, I think it'll be used as kind of like cheap content, like for social media and for those kinds of things. But and like that's kind of all it's good for. It's like, yeah, it's fun and this is cute and like, oh, haha, I get a little laugh out of it. It's a fun meme, but like, people are still going to want art created by people, right? And like the stuff that the actual art that is created by a person is still going to be irreplaceable, in my opinion. And a lot of people, like I was talking to Shane Olson, and he had said that that he thinks like we're going to see this kind of like major, and we are seeing this kind of major swing from the big studios, like everything has to be AI because it's cheaper. And then it's kind of like an overcorrection, and then like things will kind of swing back and they'll kind of normalize, like everything, and we'll kind of find that balance where ultimately, I was just thinking about it this morning, that like the idea about AI replacing artists is, I think, over exaggerated. I think that like the best people who use AI are the ones who know how to work with it to kind of get the final result that they want. As in, if you rely completely on it and want to do 100% of the work for you, it's not going to, it'll be AI, right? And it'll have that AI feel to it. But if you kind of learn to like split it up 60-40 or 80-20, where it's like, I'm still designing this thing. I'm just kind of having AI do the menial stuff in the middle that like I don't want to do, that takes me hours and hours and hours to do, right? It'll kind of just allow you to get more ideas out there into the world, and instead of taking 3 weeks for a project, you could do it in 3 days. You know, I think those are gonna be the people who use it and use it successfully and like really actually unlock its potential. You know, and that's from what I've seen, and with my own like, I'm not talking about, not even just like in the photo generating. I'm talking about even in like the text based stuff. Like, it's a great tool, but again, you can't rely on it. You can't just say, oh, this is going to do everything for me.
Yeah, exactly, because right now you can't just bury AI and get rid of it. It's gonna stay. But as you mentioned, I think working the tedious part, probably for it to take the tedious parts of your creative process or your technical process, I think that's a useful that AI can be useful. And for things that you mentioned, even like a very specific image of something.
Yeah.
I mean, I even sometimes watch AI images for something very, very dumb. Like, I don't know, like a dog in the style of X, holding a gun, etc. And I think, okay, to land, to express an idea, a really fast idea, it's fine, because I don't see an artist wasting their time making that. For something that people are, just gonna see and keep scrolling
as they're swiping.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of AI content is like you mentioned, and I think it's cheap. You see it, you keep scrolling. You rarely just take a time to admire it, or you just keep scrolling. And a lot of people who use it doesn't use it for, let's say, I don't blame if, I don't know, if my aunt generates an AI image just to send me a happy birthday image,
right?
Because I don't expect her to hire an artist to wait a couple of weeks for a great image, or I don't know. So I don't blame her. If a studio just makes that, I can blame them, for example. Right,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I think it'll be kind of, I think the place that it will find in the zeitgeist and in kind of the popular world is, it'll be kind of this thing that's like used for like memes and social media, and like as like kind of like funny one-offs, like, oh haha, this is cute, and then
one-offs, never look at it again.
Yes. That's where I see it going. Like, and I see it like a lot of times, like I'll see like on Instagram, like I'm scrolling through, and like there'll be these like videos that are clearly AI generated, and they're kind of funny, and I'm like, oh haha, that's really funny, like that's like entertaining, but I'm never gonna like want to rewatch that, like, okay, so like,
yes,
and so maybe it took the person 30 seconds to make, okay, very nice, so 30 seconds to make it, and I got 2 seconds of enjoyment out of it, okay, and like that's and I think that's okay, like I think people get like very worked up about it from like a ethics standpoint of like, no, we have to be against everything AI, and it's like it's not. I think it's a very flawed way of looking at it, because like you're saying, it's not going away. It's like, yeah, okay, you can resist it all you want, but like, what's that doing for you except for making you have heartburn and like yell and scream, and like it's not doing anything. So it's like, just recognize it for what it is. Recognize again, like, what it's good for, what it's not good for, and move on with your life and adapt, because if you don't adapt, you'll just kind of get steamrolled, and that's the way of the world, like it sounds harsh to say it like that, but
Yes, and now that you mentioned that, yes, I understand the concern about the ethics, and and I'm all for it because I understand it. And
Right.
yes, a lot of people say like, no, it's not gonna take your job, or things like that. But from a couple of years ago, since a couple of years ago, a few studios that I used to work with, a couple of concept artists, I wasn't given concept art from artists. I was just given concept AI art
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
producer, from the director. So yes, a lot of concept artists lost jobs because of that. So I understand the concern. I know it eventually can happen to me too. And yeah, that's frustrating. I understand that. And the ethics of AI, yes, are very I get it. And for example, I get frustrated, not angry, but frustrated because if a big client starts to use that, because there's some artists being replaced there. And that's when I really don't like that aspect. As I mentioned before, if my mom sends me an AI generated image, no artist was harmed because, in the creating of that stuff. No?
Right.
But I do agree, and I know too that a lot of these tools just rely on stolen artwork. You can say that.
Right.
So unfortunately, there's nothing that you can do right now, and it's also frustrating because it's already there. So
yeah,
it's already done. So
you can't claw it back.
Yes, and that's frustrating. But yes, I mean, I've been less what's the word? Sad, you can say. Because it's not going away. But and like living your life like this, it's frustrating. So
yeah, no, like I totally agree. And again, to your point, like there is a differentiation between the big studios using it and your mom or your aunt using it, like those. And again, there's kind of all the different arguments out there. But again, just to reiterate, like my point is that like people who just all day every day is just I hate AI and everything AI, and like every time there's anything that has AI posted, like they feel the need to comment with a paragraph of how much they hate AI. It's like sure, you can, it's your life, you can do whatever you want with your time, but like there are other things out there, and there are things that are in your control and things that are out of your control. And if you constantly try and control things that are out of your control, then you kind of allow the things that are in your control to fall to the wayside, and things fall apart very quickly because you're putting your focus in the totally wrong area. And I see that happening a lot, unfortunately. And so I kind of try to take the other attitude of like, hey, like here are the things that are out of my control, and here are the things that are in my control. So like, let me try and work with what is in my control to do the best I can, Yeah. One last question. It's a little bit short on time here. And this is a question I pose to all my guests. And that is, how do you define success?
Nice. I'll know if I ever have it. No, I don't know, because sometimes I used to think that being successful was just working in a big studio with a big client, or getting big paychecks, things like that. But honestly, the times that I've been feeling like the most not successful, but like you feel like fulfilled happy with your life, like you feel like I can just die today and I'll be happy, have nothing to do with that. And it's just having free time, being with your family, being with your cat, with your pets, with your friends. That's the times that I'm been feeling like the most fulfilled. Of course, you have a you don't have if while you don't have money problems or other type of problems, you can feel that way, of course. But yes, I just feel like doing what you love, even if it's for yourself. And I think that's the best thing, because when I had the opportunity to work with big studios, I didn't. Okay, let me let me tell you one thing. For example, I once had an offer to work in the big studio in Canada, and I had to decline that offer because I had my cat was really old by then, and I didn't took that job offer because I felt like my cat could just leave us any day. And I was told by some friends that it was a really stupid decision because your future, your success, your career. And I realized that I spent a lot of time trying to do things because people expect me to do that things. A lot of friends, a lot of colleagues just told me like, oh, you should be working in that studio. Oh, you should be making movies. You should be working short films, your own projects, money, studios, etc. But I was just really happy making things in my own free time, in my own pace, enjoying time with my pets, with my friends in my small town, in my house, playing video games. And it took me a lot of time to realize that. So yes, I think success is where you feel like you can do what you like without the pressure to do it for obligation or to make other people happy. So
Yeah.
yes, but successful I don't feel, because hopefully someday.
Yeah. That's really well said. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate your time coming on. I know you're a busy guy, and I really do appreciate you taking the time to come on and talk. Where can everybody find you online? On Instagram, ArtStation, all the good stuff?
Probably Instagram at Carlos Ortega 3D. I'm not very active right now. Hope to be more active in the next months.
Amazing.
Yes, in ArtStation, just Carlos Ortega. ArtStation / Carlos Ortega.
Perfect.
And that's where you can find me.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. This is really a wonderful conversation, and really enjoy talking.
No, thank you, and thanks for the invitation, for the opportunity.